Hi everyone, my name is Tom Bergian,
I'm Charles Muir.
and we are doing a review of the new RoboCop movie. This time around, we both watched it, so we're going to
Yep.
have some good give and take this time around. Now, the summary of this movie is that basically in 2028, OCP pretty much owns all the technology overseas in regards to robot technology. They want that domestic market real bad, so they take the opportunity to make poor Murphy into
Now, point of interest: why did they not have local market activity?
because the people of America do not trust robots to make decisions to take a life or not.
Effectively, land-based drones.
Exactly.
I wonder where they got that idea from. But yeah, they had what? Did they call it the Dreyfus Act? I think it was.
Oh, I don't know.
It was-
It was
It was a political MacGuffin.
exactly. Oh, the words, I love it. And actually, I like that element because that give and take of OCP in the Senate was pretty cool, and that was the real world element that I wanted to see more
Yeah.
of.
Actually, if I remember correctly, in the re-envisioning or the latest one, it was actually Omnicorp. OCP was not referenced until the very end as the parent corporation.
Okay.
So OCP
Okay.
was actually kind of like a nod to the original. I actually didn't even notice until they referenced OCP. Like, oh yeah, wait, what?
Okay. Yeah. That's actually true. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. But I gotta still reference OCP.
Yeah.
Because that's still stuck in my.
It's everyone's gonna think of that. I mean, I thought of it the entire time until they referenced like, wait, they haven't been saying OCP this entire time.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, damn,
Yeah, they were sneaky.
sneaky bastards. So before we say anything else, at least on my end, spoilers, because I don't know, I might be the bad guy on this end, because I don't know how Charles feels about this movie, because we actually haven't talked how we felt about the movie. I have my thoughts on it.
We
Not
have
gonna
our
be good.
respective opinions.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I have a lot of opinions, so it's gonna involve some spoilerific things. So just get that out of the way.
And as a warning, I will be spoilering the original one. If you haven't seen it yet, too bad. But go see it anyway.
There you go. There you go. I guess the best way you want to start comparing is just go straight for it. Is to compare the Murphys of both movies,
Yeah.
and I guess you want to start with
Whew.
yeah.
Well, the original RoboCop was in the 80s based. It's Detroit. They are in a lot of trouble with having to actually get their cops to do their job because no one respects the cops, no one respects the police. They
Yeah,
will shoot
bad
a cop
times.
on the street without question. They have legitimate trouble. And as most 80s cop movies are, you sympathize with the cops. Not so much
Sure.
the ones who are bent or broken or screwing other people over. It's an 80s movie, what do you expect? But yeah.
Yeah.
The two Murphys. It's an 80s movie. There are themes that carry out through
Things
every 80s
happen.
movie.
It's fantastic.
But-
People get angry. People get shot.
A lot.
Explosions.
The interesting thing that I saw between the two Murphys was, well, different accidents.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
different instigations
Means,
for
yeah,
why they
become
the
RoboCop, yeah.
The original one, you got this fresh from some other precinct cop, Murphy. First day on the job, gets this new partner, or he partners with this woman who makes it through all three movies, surprisingly. Ish.
Yep.
First day on the job, they go and try and bust a drug ring, because it's the 80s, there's a war on drugs. And it does not go well. It is incredibly graphic, much more graphic than I even remotely remembered. He loses his hand, his arm, most of his torso because shotguns do a lot of damage, as do pistols to the head. But
I really hope kids aren't watching this right now, because that's...
not the original.
Yeah.
I mean, with the new one, you could kind of get away with it because there is not as much gratuitous violence.
Oh.
They cut away a lot more than the original did.
Yeah, you know what? They did a lot of things with this movie, and that's the kind of thing that bugged me.
The original, it was straightforward.
Oh, it was in
The
your
guy
face.
got torn apart.
And it was
It was a
kind of
prime
beautiful.
opportunity for OCP to
Yeah.
take this cop, put him in a suit of armor, effectively, that's sentient and, well, not sentient, but it's a full body prosthesis,
Yeah.
basically, with armor and a holster for his gun in his thigh.
Why not?
That
You know?
theme
Because
holds throughout, no matter what, because you got to admit that's pretty cool.
But in this movie, or the remake,
How was that, Murphy?
well, you're introduced to Alex Murphy, just make the proper name, I guess, as a family man and a cop, and you get that, full perspective, which I like, because you kind of see him on the job, that he's truly earned the stripes that
Yeah.
of a police officer.
It was a more modern take and acknowledgement that police officers do have families. They do have
Right.
lives off
Yeah.
of being a cop.
So that was interesting, like work-life balance. And what I wanted to see was that theme to continue, because it showed that he had the cop skills to survive in this modern
Yeah.
day,
And
but
he
also
was
that
made
tenderness, with the family, and
Yeah.
it wasn't just flashbacks. You actually see him have that
Yeah.
interaction. But the problem was you didn't have much weight to go with it, because you kind of are rushed to some other scenes, and you kind of get a feeling like they just want to get back to the theme of making this guy into a robot really fast. So
There
you
was
kind of
I felt like it was a slow build up to get to Murphy, because you have the whole, what is OmniCorp doing? Why do they need a RoboCop? Then you actually get to meet Murphy, and then things go downhill from there very quickly.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
then you get RoboCop.
what I kind of describe it as, to use a line from the Cosby Show, being introduced to a slow, well-cooked steak that's being presented to you on a garbage lid. Like, you wait a long time for this great meal, and it's ruined because it's presented on a garbage lid.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the problem is that what I thought was going to happen was you get this feel of, okay, he's going to be reintroduced to his family as RoboCop.
Yeah.
And that,
You're going to get the family aspect of,
right, like how
am
did
I more human than robot, more robot than human? How do I deal with my family now that I have no real body?
yeah, because that's something that they didn't do in the original, and I thought that's a really cool direction to go in this movie.
I feel like partly because special effects limitations for the time, but also it wasn't of interest to them in the 80s to show that.
Well, because they gotta
much
blow
detail.
stuff up.
Which they did.
But, I said to myself, that would explain why, okay, we had to show you a little bit of the family so that we can do a contrast of the before and after.
Yeah.
And I thought, if they continue with that theme, great idea. But they don't do that because...
And it would have been a fascinating way to take a RoboCop franchise to show the more human aspect than the robot.
Right. And what makes a man.
Yeah.
And, what they do is, and it actually does it so well. Like, he actually waits in the car when he's parked in front of the house, and slowly walks as the new RoboCop, and it's that doorbell, and he waits as the wife comes,
Yeah.
and the hug, and talks to his son, and then it almost breaks your heart. And you wait to see, okay, where's that heart to heart, and I'm still
How is
here.
that going to go over
Right.
with the back end machinations of what they're doing to his software, for lack of a better term?
And what they do? cut to the next scene, and he's going somewhere else. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So any emotions or attachments you were just about to have,
I was
gone.
waiting. I felt that build up. I was expecting that build up. Where's the payoff?
They wanted to shoot stuff as quickly as possible. So I think that was just like a really missed opportunity that they just
For
dropped the
all
ball
we
on.
know, it'll be a deleted scenes on the DVD.
I'm not buying it. No.
Not even the director's cut.
No, and you know what? It's funny when you mention the partner because that was another misstep.
I'm probably gonna either make people happy or piss people off. I can't remember the partner's name in the
I
remake.
think it's Lois because I think this one's Lewis because he's a guy.
Yeah, the original was Lois. She survived all 3 movies in the trilogy. I couldn't remember the guy's name. He wasn't really
Jack
there.
Lewis is what I have,
Okay.
but like I couldn't
Yeah.
really remember. I'm not even sure. So like the problem is that you're shown his partner, and you're introduced to him, and you get like a feel for him, and you kind
They
of start to
had
like
an
him.
interesting dynamic. The same
Right,
as
you think
the
like a good
original
body
Murphy
cop,
and Lois.
yeah, and you think they're gonna have a good
There'll be a good interplay.
relationship that I'm gonna back you up, and through this time, and no, RoboCop's gotta go solo, and then give him a motorcycle. He's riding through town.
Well, to be fair,
okay.
the original RoboCop, after going Robo, went
Yeah.
solo. Good lord. Robo went solo in...
I should be on a shirt.
I don't remember what type of car they had
It's
for him, but it was
it's a
like
special
a modified
cop, whatever.
Pontiac or something awkward. I'm sure car fans will get angry. Go ahead. But no, he went solo afterwards as well. But that was because the original RoboCop didn't remember he was human for a while. He had the whole amnesiac robot shtick.
You know what was great though? She stood by him because she felt bad on
She-
how she felt like maybe could have done a better job in protecting him, and I'm gonna help you through this, and
That was an interesting, interesting
well, yeah, you keep
contrast
telling me off. How dare you, sir?
between
How
the
dare
two.
you? Look at it.
The original one, they weren't
Okay.
told he was Alex
Yeah.
Murphy. It was just, here's a RoboCop. Have fun with him.
Yeah.
We're OCP, we own you, so we're
Enjoy.
shoving this robot on you.
Yeah.
The remake, it's in the press everywhere. They make a big deal out of
Yeah.
it. This is Alex Murphy. He is now a RoboCop.
Yeah. No
Haha.
surprises. Yeah.
Because he was a political maneuver.
Yeah. Because
the re-envisioning.
in OCP, they needed something to push to America to say
They needed a
robots
marketable
are
product.
friendly. This look at this great thing that we can provide. Sign on to whatever we say, and we'll make your lives better. Trust us,
Yeah.
because they're slimy.
That was actually one thing that stuck through both versions. RoboCop is a product
Yeah,
of OmniCorp or OCP.
one
They
thing
own
that's
him.
consistent.
They control him via software, hardware, what have you, to a degree.
Yeah, you know what? An interesting point is, I wish they were a little bit more consistent with the people around them on how they reacted to him. Scientists in the original, where
yeah.
they treated him like a product, because they were of the mindset of OCP. This is ours. And now you saw the original, so
Yeah.
feel free to fill it in. Where they I guess they had celebrations. So he had he had moments where he was turned on, and he saw that they were having a party, and they
Yeah.
for fun kissed his visors. We're just having fun because he's our product. We can do whatever we want with him.
He's just a robot.
Yeah.
They even put a party hat on him. It was New Year's.
Yeah. So, what was it? Yeah, Gary Oldman. He plays Norton. He's the guy, the scientist, who puts the technology into this new RoboCop.
Is he the one who did the field test with him?
Yeah. Well, not the actual testing. Not the Maddox guy. That's
Okay.
Yeah. But he's. All right, I'll talk about him in 2 seconds. But he's the guy to play Commissioner Gordon. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So where this is a misstep is you think, all right, he's a guy that's going to be like a conscience, like someone that's going to guide him to humanity, but
He'd be
he's
the
not.
saving grace.
He's
when
he's
things go
just
wrong.
someone's like a puppet, and the reason why I say this is because you see the scientist actually work in like a amputee hospital, which
Yeah.
is like a really great element of a story if it's used correctly, but it's not.
Yeah, they
Because-
dropped the ball on that one.
Like what great thing to say is like, what truly makes a human being? Like, is it its parts or is it its heart? His
Or his
mind.
brain.
Yeah.
His soul.
They don't talk about anything. They slightly talk about it, like,
They make a nod to it.
yeah, and it's joked in a way, and then they just move on.
Which pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because that was another great potential way of carrying the movie on.
Yeah, and I said to myself, they just might as well not have used them, because it was just a completely lost opportunity.
A concept that deep and variable, it's all or nothing. You either play
There it
that
is.
up or you ignore it.
And I think they just picked him because he looks really great screaming. So in moments of panic, he does his don't go, or
He's a good actor.
yeah.
Worked the character as best he
All the
could.
happy music starts playing.
He worked the character, but I think he could have acted in a way that's truly more to his potential. In that, when he was, if you could show like the character was conflicted, it would make a better story. So instead of just saying, here's a science guy that follows OCP to a certain point and then changes his mind for reasons, that's a hard pill to swallow. But
Yeah.
instead of just showing him that he sighs all the time and you think you know where he's going, like, show that, okay, he's only working for OCP for money to help
I'm the brother, you're the sister.
other patients in the hospital.
Hmm.
But then,
I don't care.
okay,
I said I don't care.
I we have company.
It happens.
No, I think what's great is he's a great actor that can really show that he's someone that's deeply hurt.
Yeah,
So
the emotions he has to portray are believable.
so if you can like show him like crying or something, like just broken down for just all the things that he's done to Murphy just to make him RoboCop, that would be a great use of the character, or better use of the character.
Yeah.
Instead of him just like sighing and I gotta do what I gotta do, like some kind of puppet. It'd still be a better use of the character.
Too little, too late.
All right, so yeah, what we're referring to, Maddox, Jackie Earl Harley is the actor that plays him. All right, he's the soldier that's in love with OCP robots. Like, it's kind of scary.
Well, the robotic
wanna-
tech was fascinating in the remake because, okay, the original one you have RoboCop. He's part human, part robot. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have it's like the ED-250 something, whatever. They have a weird number for the
Isn't it still?
robot tank cannon
Well,
thing.
okay.
I forget the name offhand.
Which
is all robot.
I gotta cheat my own
or at least
notes.
99%.
Oh, Ed
robot.
209.
Yeah, Ed 209.
Sorry, I actually had to cheat. Sorry,
Fair enough.
American. No, go ahead.
But okay, in the first movie, it's just pure robot. That's what it is. There's no robot. There's no human parts to it. So it's either all robot or semi-human, semi-robot. The re-envisioning one, you have people in an exoskeleton armor.
Yeah.
They don't really show the full capabilities of. Fine. But it's interesting to see, okay, you're mostly human, you got a little bit of tech helping you out.
Right.
Then you got a Terminator-style, human-sized robot that's all computer. And then you have the ED-209 level walking tanks that's all computer. no organic parts. RoboCop is the only middleman,
Yeah.
Everyone's singing.
for lack of a better term. But it's interesting to see the greater diversity that they had.
Which is fine. I think it was just. I like diversity, and I like someone that actually is all about OCP products, because it shows that they're not alone
Yeah. And
in the market, that someone actually backs them.
it actually only just came to me that maybe the reason they had the human-sized robots was for current day viewers. I'm just thinking back then you had either nothing or a big walking 2-footed tank. There's no in between. How did they get from the tank down to a RoboCop? How did they envision that? This way, they kind of show the in between. Okay, here's a human-sized robot. There's no organic parts, but if you get a human who loses most of his limbs and body and everything, let's shove him in there. See what happens.
I want to say that they included that because they just wanted more things to be shot at. And I'm referring to like the training that RoboCop goes through, where Maddox has to approve RoboCop.
Which is fair enough. It's his
Which
technology,
is
it's his
absolutely
software.
makes sense. You know,
He's
got a green
invested.
check. But the way he does, it's so stupid. Like,
Well,
it's all right. Here's what I mean. As far as stupid, let me say it differently. He's maybe a little too obsessed about efficiency, in that he thinks robots without human components are the absolute key to efficiency. But he fails to really accept the fact that RoboCop, as he is still better than a normal human being. He's literally a human tank. So he's not, say, as efficient
and
as.
relatively indestructible.
So he's arguing, okay, he's not as fast or quick as the RoboCop draft during his training. It's not as quick, but he still, handles his business.
Yeah.
And if you would see him in a crime scene or negotiations, you think RoboCop in the scene,
Negotiations.
he's got it. You know what I mean? So
When he was first released, the press release after the situation of what they did to get him there pissed me off. But
yes,
there was no negotiations there. You are a criminal. You are a murderer. You have 3 seconds to respond to my existence. Nope, I'm gonna zap you. There's no negotiations.
and he uses stun guns often in this movie. So
Well, to be fair, it was packed with people, but it was like packed like sardines. Even with robotic
and
aiming.
that scene's fine. I just, you feel like it was weird that he just outstunned half of.
To be fair, I was surprised. Like, okay, he's gonna chase them. This is gonna be an awesome little 45-second scene. Pop. Oh. Huh. Wait.
Yeah,
what?
it kind of like took away from the entire excitement of everything.
I mean, it didn't
but-
really drive home that at that moment he was more machine than man because they manipulated him previously. But
I
yeah,
don't know how to feel about it. I mean, it's not that he doesn't just use a stun gun, but just the fact that you see this supposedly big, imposing, half human, half robot,
yeah.
and then you suddenly see him pull out a stun gun, and it's like, how much are you worth?
It's like the Men in Black and Jay's noisy cricket,
You know what? That's yeah,
only without
the actual
firepower.
kick, but just the look of it, yeah. Oh my god. And I guess let's talk about then. I guess just the overreaching themes. Like, how do you feel about? Did they create this world? Because just to talk about the stun gun, because I felt the Detroit that they painted in this RoboCop movie. I don't think RoboCop was actually needed. He was like a luxury item. because
The way I saw it was,
from what I saw,
yeah, the
Yeah.
original Detroit is a dystopian wasteland where people are more likely to shoot the cop just because they're cranky that day rather than anything else. Like, the cops didn't stand a chance. They needed the OCP help to get things
Yeah.
done. And that was blatantly clear because 80s movie. Yeah. This one, it's not as clear cut. There's a lot of vague stuff that's kind of pointed at, but not really. There's a lot of gray areas. A lot of gray areas.
yeah,
But in this Detroit, I feel like, okay, that was Murphy's home base. So maybe they figured that was the best place to start it off. Kind of like kick it off in your hometown because marketing. Which they focused on very strongly. This needs to be a marketable product. Make it more tactical.
now why not show RoboCop actually being of value? If OCP is truly trying to show that RoboCop is something that's to clean the streets,
Yeah.
where's the dirty streets? Where's the dirt? I mean,
Well,
like,
to be fair, how many arrests did he make within like that first 48-hour period that they were
well,
doing a montage of?
montage.
And it's not even it's not like an 80s montage, which is very entertaining. This was just fine. Just get on with it. Come on.
I mean, but you see them summarize all these crimes and things like that as they upload,
Yeah.
records. Those look more violent than when you actually see him get involved in. Now, how does that
Well,
justify his
I
existence?
don't remember this offhand, but was this the latest version R or PG-13?
PG-13.
That's why. The
Wow.
original was almost like NC-17.
I've seen PG-13 movies that at least the area looked bad. Now, it doesn't have to be crazy violent, but at least paint this picture that, oh, he's going into this bad area because there's,
Yeah.
graffiti here and, people dressed in ridiculously outfits, you know what I mean?
Dystopian wasteland.
Yeah,
garb.
exactly. Just, all right, you're going from the good area to the bad lands. You know what I mean? Because they literally call the bad lands.
And I think one of the movie summaries for this said, like, okay, he's now the RoboCop, and they kind of take advantage of him by putting him in situations normal cops wouldn't. I didn't really see that. With
Okay,
the exception
right.
of when they wanted to go against him.
I mean, didn't you
In
feel
the
like,
course of events?
wouldn't you think to yourself, just get more cops and just give them better weapons, and that's all you
Maybe
need.
this is a Gotham scenario. You're not going to give the regular cops better weapons and stuff because a lot of them are bent.
Okay, so now we're getting into it. There are cops that are shown as dirty, and they're so obvious that you can have a sign on them. We're bad. Just give us 10 minutes. We'll show you. And I just couldn't,
It was
shake
about as
that-
obvious as the 80s movie
Yeah.
renditions, which
the one thing that's actually...
nowadays, if you're going to do everything new, re-envision, don't do an 80s rendition of beat you over the head obvious stuff.
it was
They didn't even do
God
that consistently.
obvious. Yeah. But where's the sense of community of the cops? That, to either try to dismantle any and all involvements of corruption, their unions to say, hey, to the press conferences and, via press conferences,
This is what we're gonna do. You have to take
our
off
cops
your
do
jacket
this
first.
for the city. We're not all bad. There's the steps we're taking to stop crime and stop corruption. Even if it's, lies and BS, at least say something. Show that you have intelligence or involvement in the jobs that you have. They don't do that. Even when, now this is Novak, this is the Samuel L. Jackson's character. Now this is a guy that's just like via Fox show type of entertainment. So he bashes down on cops. So there's no way they wouldn't just let him have fun with their reputation. There's just no way. but they do in this movie, and it just takes away a lot of realism.
The original, like the very beginning scenes of the re-envisioned movie, it's Novak's, whatever his show is called. And
Yeah.
it seems relatively balanced, straightforward, okay.
I want to call it balance,
Well,
but
comparatively balanced. Like, okay, this is relatively believable. You're kind of slanting things to one side, but
Yeah.
well, everything does. Fine. It's not. It's interesting to see that type of report. Later on, when they actually start trying to do interviews with the various political sides, you are blatantly one-sided. Like, you're not even pretending anymore.
yeah.
Like, and then the final one. Like, how would this get aired? You're just embarrassing yourself. I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson shouting angrily.
Well, you
and
gotta have
swearing.
him yell, so that's in the contract.
Every
know.
movie he does, it's requirement by law. He can't not, but really,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like, where I can go with that. It's just except that, I mean, that could have been, I guess, better utilized just to show more of the Senate versus OCP, which they talk about a little bit.
It was like
but-
a narrator's voiceover to fill in little fiddly bits that don't conveniently work for the characters they're playing with. Like, here are the back-end political shenanigans that
Yeah.
we kind of poke at a little bit, but now this guy's going to voice over for 45 seconds and fill in the rest. While
And-
shouting angrily.
And, I think that's another problem is that we're talking about all these steps and characters and issues. Reason why is because I feel this movie is throwing a lot at you, and you're thinking, well, why aren't you talking clearly about RoboCop? Well, because there's not one clear story. At least in my opinion.
They're trying to do way too much with way too many characters. There's not enough time to juggle that many balls. Enough for all of those sidelines to get played out.
So everything that you got involved in the beginning of the movie, all right, we're gonna go with the family. Nowhere really. His partner, he
It
comes
petered
and
out.
goes.
He had like
that
5 scenes with Murphy, RoboCop.
So you think that there's gonna be a buddy, cop element? Yeah, not so much.
Give the partner the exoskeleton armor.
Oh my
That would
God!
have been an interesting interplay.
What? You just blew my mind just now.
Try again, Ashley.
Live on YouTube. What? I think they could have done a lot of great things if they, just stuck with that emotional story and just go to, that humanity angle. The scientist, Gary Oldman character, talk about you're sort of like my amputee, patients that can help you. Go for a human heart story. His partner helping him being a cop again. OCP is just happy that he's out in the streets. Interplay some shenanigans. And I think that would have been a better movie. There's just too many missed opportunities.
It would have
that
been
it just,
a better first movie to make a better setup for the inevitable sequel. They will do anyway, but at least get the characters set up so that they can survive a second movie in a believable manner.
If they do another movie, they cannot talk down to the audience. I think that's the big problem they did in this one. Like, it's like you have to accept this because it's cool, right? All right, cool. Now here's this other thing that you have to accept. No, you have to earn us liking what you're showing us.
I'm curious, how many concessions did they need to make in this version to get a PG-13 rating? Or why did they choose to get it down to a PG-13 rating? Because the original was barely R. I mean, there was so much gore and violence in that I was legitimately surprised. Like,
Dude,
really, they
come
got
on.
that on
I don't know about you.
theaters.
There was kids in the movie theater, and
I mean, the original, you see him getting dismembered by
oh god,
the
and
drug
it was kind of awesome.
people. It was also impressive.
And if your
Well-
parents saw you watch it, they change the channel as fast as humanly possible. What they, I think, and I'm sorry I'm cutting you short, but I think it's all about, let's try to give these kids a really cool robot movie, but we can't have their parents cover their eyes, so we'll try to push the envelope, but not too much.
Yeah, the re-envisioned version of Murphy, whatever his first name is,
Alex,
if it stayed consistent throughout,
I
think it did.
believe so.
Okay. His
Like, we don't even care. It's like,
his inciting incident to become RoboCop, compared to getting his hand blown off by a shotgun, then his arm, then his chest getting riddled, and then getting popped in the head
oh
by
my
a pistol.
god.
Like on screen, they didn't
Yeah.
cut away, which was impressive special effects for the times. The re-envisioned one, car bomb. And
Okay. Just car bomb.
you don't see
Can I?
the after effects.
Can I just talk about this car
Which-
bomb nonsense? Because you just hit. Because I said I was going to be the bad guy here, folks. So Murphy, because of reasons, is blown to hell. Okay. 80% of his body.
Well, they showed a quick, like, little X-ray thing, or futuristic equivalent of the X-ray. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
He had most of one leg. He had.
Yeah.
He had part of one arm. He had his entire torso and the
He
head, of
was
course.
pretty still put together.
I mean, he lost an arm, on a leg, and half of the other leg. Which, okay.
Not much of a
the-
life, granted.
But the prostheses, whatever, of this movie, they show actually, like, veterans from wars having full limb prosthetics that you can play a guitar in a believable manner. So they're pretty high tech. But just like the first movie, the original, it's all about the product. You don't need that extra body mass, so they trim it off.
Good point. But why the hell is the face still okay from that distance of explosion? I don't know why that bugs me.
Plastic surgery.
I'm
Which,
sorry.
to make more believable in that respect, you should have a before actor and then an after actor. Because you would have multiple degree burns across your face from that close of a distance. And I forget what percentage burns they said. They mentioned it offhand. In the movie.
I think they said like
It was a
80,
throwaway.
dude. I think they said 80%.
Most
How
of the
is your-
skin was third or... It was the most
I don't
significant
know.
burns possible.
I just said, all right, we're just gonna make this happen. Like, sure.
I do like that they made the nutritional necessities
Yeah.
more believable in the re-envisioning one
That was
than
cool.
the original. It's basically a full blood transfer, but with all the nutrients inside.
To give credit where credit's due, they do a lot of great things with the visuals in this movie.
Yeah.
In regards to robotics,
There's
absolutely.
a scene where they actually reveal the extent of what they've done to him.
Oh, that
That
wow.
was... not
That messed me up.
jaw-dropping, but the equivalent of, pretty much.
that was kind of messed up. So I gotta
Yeah.
give credit where credit's due. That was really a unique angle that they went, and all the more reason why I said the Gary Oldman's character should have been more of a key character in Murphy's life. But
Maybe in
Yeah.
the sequel. Although...
Rent it. I'm sorry. Rent it.
It's inevitable.
Rent this movie. Rent the sequel that comes out, because I'm sure that's going to be whatever.
Yeah, this is definitely worth. This is worth seeing. It's just not necessarily going to the theater and paying the $10 to $15 seeing at the moment.
You know, I almost wanted to just say boo this movie, just to see what would happen. And
Yeah, it's gotten some pretty bad reviews out there.
I mean,
Although
some people
considerably shorter than ours. We really like to delve into the
get really
grittiness.
into the meat and potatoes. No, I mean, when I get into a thought of what makes a good movie, it's only because they had a really great opportunity to really knock something out of the park. And
Yeah.
they had some really, really great, and I guess maybe too many hands in the pot, as the expression is. Or
I don't know the
just-
behind the scenes details for all of the actual like on set politics that were inevitably involved, but I know the original one had a ridiculous amount of trouble with everything. So
But yeah, the original had this one clean, streamlined story, and they were able to get away with a lot.
you got this
So.
cop, he becomes basically a robot cop, and he takes Detroit back. It's an 80s
Well,
basic
he
plot
doesn't-
that you
he
can
doesn't-
really enjoy.
Changed Detroit, but he's trying to make it better. But he knows he can't change like OCP or whatever. But
Wow.
he becomes a better cop.
He definitely makes an effect on OCP.
Well, yeah, handle his business. Absolutely. Oh, you know what? And that's like the big thing. Like the ending, you have a better impact in the end. You're like, hell yeah. He
I'm
does
sorry, but
one good
his
thing.
ending pissed me off in the re-envisioning.
The re-envisioning was garbage.
I mean, to be fair, the original way to get over the fourth law
Yes.
was hilariously
Clever,
80s.
clever, and that's how you end it.
I mean, come
you
on,
know
the
what I mean?
one-liners on that were classic, but
But this
there's
remake,
got to be a modern equivalent to deal with that.
you know, I think they just said, let's just end
We
it
know it's
with.
gonna happen. It's the only way it will happen. So, nah.
I just, I don't know. It was disappointing. Like it was like so frustrating to see how this movie ends. Now I'm talking about the
The climactic
new
battle.
one.
Yeah, of the
Climactic.
re-envisioning. It was a battle.
It was
He
a
took on a
joke.
lot of the ED-209s.
All right, little gripe. They Ed 209s, I like to pronounce them.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, they were just throwaways. And how do you do that for a machine that large and that equipped? And they're just really
I'm
just.
sorry, but they were throwaways from the beginning of the re-envisioning.
But
The way those things were taken out. I mean, admittedly,
I
the body
guess.
count to accomplish that was significant.
yeah,
But, okay, come on. In the original, the first ED-209 gets taken out by a flight of stairs.
which is hilarious, by the way.
Yes.
But the whole introduction to it and the mindset behind it, there was purpose for it. You know,
Yeah.
the big plans. That it was a flawed machine, but it's the future.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I guess
that's pretty.
95% of any situation it would be in, it is unstoppable.
Yeah,
It's just
but
that 5%
it's defeated
where
by stairs.
humans get a little creative.
But I digress because I'm not gonna go into that. But the ending of this movie, how he stops the new directive force, the red asset, as they call it, which is a joke.
Well, it did follow true to the original in
Well,
that respect.
How they override it, it's not
pissed me
justified.
off.
It's not justified at all. And when you watch the end, it's like, so
Okay.
this is how we're gonna do this?
Okay, so the original, you got the three primary laws of robotics essentially just put in cop format. It's basically don't kill anyone, protect the public, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
you got this mysterious fourth law, which is basically don't kill anyone who's part of OCP. The original, that's easy enough to circumvent. As the chair, was he like the chairman of the board?
I think
or-
CEO or the big boss.
the top level. You got the top level guy being held hostage by the main
BP
antagonist
or whatever.
of that movie. You fire the guy. He's no longer a part of OCP.
See ya.
Oh, he
I don't
said
know.
thank you.
Well, okay.
You gotta
Yes,
be polite. But then, yeah, you shoot
Yeah.
him about a half dozen times. He falls through a plate glass window down a ridiculous
And
skyscraper.
that was such a rewarding thing, as violent as it is, and
But
horrible to say, but it's
No, it
rewarding.
got hilarious because it looked like it was a Stretch Armstrong drop out of a tower with the way the arms elongated with the special effects.
Well, okay. But I mean, from what he went through and the mind games that involved, there was like really good interaction with the characters
Yeah.
prior to that moment. So there's a good feeling of reward as someone watching this movie. Now, you watch this new remake, you don't get that feeling of satisfaction. You don't feel
You
like...
get frustrated.
Yeah, it's just... You just feel like you just wasted your time, basically. And if you watch this movie, you will. So just lost opportunity, and it's forgettable. It really is.
Yeah, which is very disappointing. I mean, they could have gone a similar route somehow with circumventing that law, but
Yeah,
or they could have played up how he circumvented the law this time round. Because I mean, one thing that I thought was very interesting in this movie was trying to play on is he actually a robot that we can control, or is he human? Can he make his own decisions? They blatantly state, once the visor goes down, you're a robot. You're running on subroutines and pre-programmed scenarios. But the way to circumvent that is, he slowly starts making his own decisions even when the visor is down. So,
through memories and one interaction with his wife.
Yeah.
One blatant
Because
interaction.
True love helped him survive.
Love conquers. Oh, yeah.
Even robots.
That's all I have to say. I mean, I'll just keep repeating the same things over and over again. So
It was an interesting concept to play with because, what makes you a robot? What makes you a human? How much of each does there need to be? What ratio tips it overboard? And I mean, with this one, there is not much there's not much organic material left. There is very little.
yeah.
He is definitely more robotics than human. But it's the brain that controls the entire robotic system. For the most part. It gets a little fuzzy because of the subroutines. I mean, that is a fascinating aspect to try and dig into. It's just they don't. It's another shallow grave.
One thing that they show you,
don't
and they
play
just... There's a little cool concept, moving on.
And,
they do a lot of that.
Okay, the visor goes down, he becomes a subroutine program that just handles the battlefield because his software has been upgraded, his hardware has been upgraded, as they say. Why didn't they upgrade the software of the pure robots? Why were they unable to do that to the human-sized robots? Because, I mean, you get a force of those with the upgraded software. The new patch upgrade. You could do a lot of stuff with that, for good or bad. No,
I think
they
you
just
just
keep them
made
inferior.
3 separate movies from this one movie. Just take a lot of the concept.
There's your trilogy, right there.
Oh, God.
Oh, I swear, if they do a re-envisioning of the second movie for the sequel, I will cry. I mean, the second one was hilariously bad. Because it's an even stronger drug called nuke.
I don't know. The third one, though, was something
I
else.
didn't get a chance to see the third one
Oh,
this weekend.
dude.
I really need to just
I
round
don't
it out
know
because
if
I
you
saw the first two this
want to
weekend.
do that to yourself.
I know it's brutal because I remember bits and pieces of it, but
I mean,
if they put a psychotic person in an Ed 209 in the sequel, I don't know what I will do. If they do it in one of the robotic humans, that would be enough of a twist. I might check it out. Maybe.
no, because then they'll just, I'm angry, I'm just going to shoot stuff.
RoboCop versus RoboCop, though.
Stairs. I'm going to blow stuff up until there's no more stairs. I don't know. They'll probably introduce a really cool concept, but they'll drop the ball on something. I've lost hope on the series. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they've accomplished their goal of making a robotic cop. Granted, it didn't turn out the way they wanted to, politics-wise, but they did it. Theoretically, they could do it again. Whether the second one is better or worse, you never know. But depending on how long they take to create a second one, the hardware could be better, the tech could be better, software could be.
It almost sounds like
higher
you
path.
really want to push for another movie, and I don't know if.
I don't know how much money they made off of this first one, off of the re-envisioned first one, but chances are it's going to be enough. They're going to push a sequel through no matter what. If they're going to do that, let it try and be good. Don't make it just a straight to DVD crap fest. Don't make it horrible.
I'm sorry. I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but
don't turn it into the next Transformers series.
No, it's another can of worms for later. No.
We're not doing that one.
Yeah. God, no. So, guys, I feel drained just talking about this movie. So, thanks for watching, and leave some comments.
Yeah, if you did see this and or the original, post your comments. Let us know what you thought of the two, comparatively or just standalone. Do you agree with some of our comments? Are you going to post raging angry ones as to what we messed up?
And yeah, I mean, we'll definitely reply if you have questions, or if you want us to deep dive into more of our thoughts.
Yeah, if we missed a particular subtopic, by all means, point it out.
And we'll reply as soon as possible. And we'll leave some links again to our previous video. And to Charles, he has some other interviews with authors and other podcasts. So yeah, definitely check his channel out. Well, thanks for watching.
Until next time, guys.